Delhi and the surrounding areas are choking under a blanket of thick smog. The average air quality index has improved slightly. It has entered very poor category after hitting severe and hazardous levels for several days straight. In response, the government in Delhi has revoked GRAP 4 restrictions. Taking cognizance of the worsening situation, the Delhi High Court has handed down an ultimatum to the Indian government. The court lashed out at the government, saying either provide citizens with fresh air or reduce GST on air purifiers. A division bench of Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyay and Justice Tushar Rao pulled up the authorities for not exempting taxes on air purifiers, which it said has become a necessity amid the rising air pollution in Delhi. The bench has called out the government, saying reducing taxes on air purifiers is the minimum the government can do amid a health emergency. The court was hearing a petition asking for air purifiers to be lifted as a medical device and the tax on them to be dropped to 5%. The court appeared in agreement and demanded the government to calculate the harm being done to the nearly 30 million people who live in Delhi and the National Capital Region. It has asked it to consider temporary GST relief on air purifiers. The judge has pointed out that the imposition of high taxes on these life-saving devices is a clear violation of the principle of fairness and justice, particularly when the government has failed to ensure adequate air quality. Under GST rules, air purifiers are currently taxed at 18%. This is the highest bracket after the system was overhauled in September. Air purifiers are not considered as medical devices. They currently fall under the luxury items slabs, along with electronic devices like air conditioners and TVs. The sale of air purifiers has gone up in the national capital, with Delhi AQI switching between very poor and severe categories for months this year. As the Delhi NCR region struggles with pollution crises, attention has shifted to the Aravalis, a critical natural barrier that helps moderate climate and air quality. The latest, the Indian government has issued directions to the states for a complete ban on the grant of any new mining leases in the Aravalis. The order also came days after the Supreme Court imposed a freeze on new mining leases until a comprehensive management plan for sustainable mining is prepared. Turvedi, founder and director, Chintan Environmental Research and Action Group, India. She is now joining us live on this broadcast. Ms. Chaturvedi, thank you very much for your time and welcome to WION World is One. I just want to know from you, what do you think about what the court said, that it has actually lashed out at the government, saying either you provide citizens with fresh air or reduce GST on air purifiers?
Well, I believe that very few people in Delhi can afford air purifiers. On one hand, in fact, about 30% of the population does live in substandard housing. And even if they were given a free air purifier, it wouldn't work because the house is not made to run air purifiers. So I still think that is still an air purifier is something that the most poor people who need clean air most of all won't be able to afford. Having said that, I'm glad that air purifiers are going to be cheaper because people on the edge who can just about afford it without the GST will be able to look after their own health and their children. And so I don't believe that that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I congratulate the courts. But I do believe we need to appreciate that this is going to not impact all the people who run our cities, the people who, the street vendors, the waste pickers, the government safai karamcharis who sweep the streets, security guards, newspaper people, gig workers from Blinkit, Zomato, all of them, and many more, Amazon. they're still going to breathe that terrible air, and young people, old people in slums are still going to breathe terrible air. So I think this comes as a relief to the middle class, but the poor continue to get terrible air, and I think the only solution for them is genuinely clean air.
Clean air indeed. Ms. Chaturvedi, this is a direct question to you. Do you think the Delhi government has failed? Because this issue has been going on for weeks now. There have been protests against the government. The government says that the air quality will improve, but it has not improved. So what is wrong with the Delhi government, and what measures do they need to take to improve the air quality in Delhi?
I think there are three things they have to do really urgently. One of them is that they have to absolutely find the money and buy from houses, and especially from residential areas, any kind of compost. Because when you convert wet waste to compost, 50% of your waste doesn't go to landfills and it doesn't catch fire by giving out methane. And waste-based air pollution is something we can control, and it will make a big difference because it's both centralized and localized. And if the government started a procurement process, that would be phenomenal, because not everybody can just afford to compost waste and invest in it and then not have any way of closing the loop. The other thing that I would love to see right away is that we need the metro made completely free. Every time we touch Grad 3, the metro should go free. And I think the third thing that, and I'm only talking of quick measures because there are many other measures. And I think the big thing is that, and it's kind of symbolic for sure, but I think government officers really need to be going in electric buses or carpooling, but we definitely shouldn't see them using buses by private vehicles to go to work, including their families, and going out in government vehicles for leisure and for evening socializing. Should cut that down, because I think it really pinches normal people to see that we're paying for all these amenities, and then we're still breathing crappy air, even if it's an electric vehicle. I think it's quite important for officials to start carpooling and traveling, even if they're special buses. Obviously, we want them to travel in safety and comfort, but I think these things are very important.
Ms. Chaturvedi, we'll have to
I
end it
do
there.
think we've got to stop cutting every single tree. You just can't cut trees and plant them again. That doesn't work. Trees are dust traps, but they have to be old and with huge canopies to be effective. So if you're going to cut trees, new trees are going to take several years to fulfill that ecosystem service.
Okay, point taken and point made. Ms. Chaturvedi, thank you very much for your time. We'll have to end it there. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.